The demand for the weight loss drugs Wegovy and Ozempic is so great that it's caused a global shortage. It's also caused an increase in the public taking compounded semaglutide, the main substance of both of those drugs. But is taking a compounded medication safe and effective? Well, let's find out. I'm Dr. Messina, and to understand what a compounded medication is, we have to look at the initial process of the FDA approving the initial brand drug. When a pharmaceutical company creates a new medication, they make a presentation to the FDA. They show the results of the animal studies, then the human studies, and then later the studies on children. They present a dosage and a route of administration. Is this going to be a pill or an inhaler or an injectable? And they show the risk versus reward of using those drugs for the indicated medical illness. Once the FDA reviews the results of these studies, which are usually several years long, it will then check out the facility and make sure that it's made under proper sterile conditions and that every medication is going to be uniform. Every pill is going to have the same strength. You're going to get reproducible results from every batch. When a generic company wants to produce a medication, it will send an application to the FDA and it will explain that it's reproduced this branded drug using the same made substance. There might be a few inert elements in there that are different, but they're going to have to prove that it's the same strength, the same doses, the same route of administration, and treat the same medical indication. The FDA is not going to demand that they do animal and human testing because that's already been done before. And then the FDA will go down and examine the facility. They're going to want to make sure that the medication is made under proper sterile conditions. And that's critical, especially on an injectable, where you're going to be placing that medication below the skin. So generic drugs are FDA approved. Compounded drugs are not FDA approved. And there's only one instance where the FDA will approve a compounded drug, and I'm going to explain that at the end. When you're dealing with a compounded drug, you're dealing with a manufacturer that deals in small batches. And compounding drugs could be made as something as small as a mom and pop making it in their kitchen to a major manufacturer. So you have to be careful. Are compounded drugs safe? Well, they can be. They can be very safe, but you have to do your homework. First, never order a compounded drug from an internet site where you don't need a prescription. They're usually very shady and you have no idea what you're getting in that drug. Number two, ordering from China. It's excessively cheap, but again, you have no idea what you're getting. Here is one from China. It's got sodium in it. That salt will destroy the medication, and that's not how the FDA tested it. Sometimes compounding pharmacies will put additives such as vitamin B12 or vitamin C in the mixture. That's been very common in the semaglutide for Ozempic. Again, that's not how it was FDA tested. You don't know how you're going to react to that. And most important, you can check out your compounding pharmacy. Go to a website called Besaferx. That's going to give you a listing of those compounding pharmacies. And you could tell, has the Department of Health been involved with them several times for production problems or sterility situations? If so, don't use them. See what type of complaints they've been having. Because like I said, this could be as simple as a mom and pop mixing it in the kitchen. So you have to be aware of what you're actually getting. So that Besaferx is your real source to determine if you should be getting your compounded medication from a pharmacy. Compounded medications tend to be significantly less expensive than the brand. A course of Ozempic is about $1,000 a month. When you deal with a compounding pharmacy, it should be about $300 to $400 a month. That should be your kind of set point to pay between $300 and $400. If you're getting something that's $12 or $20, I would be very weary of it. Remember, this is a medication you're injecting into your body. You don't want to save some money and inject some toxin or something that's not effective or something that's contaminated. So what's the situation where the FDA does approve a compounding pharmacy? They will do it if somebody needs a medication that's a one-off medication. It's the only thing that could help them, but they have a problem with it. Let's say it's a brand drug, but they're allergic to the red dye that might be in there. That major pharmaceutical company is not going to remove the red dye from a batch of 20 pills to give to this one individual. It's just not going to happen. But the compounding pharmacies, because they deal in small batch, can remove that red dye. And in that instance, where you have a person who needs that specific medication, it's the only thing that's going to help them, and they're having a problem because of one substance that could be easily removed, the FDA will allow compounding for that. I hope you learned something from this. If you wanted to use a compounded medication, you can. Just be careful and do your homework. Take care and have a good day.